Today, I'm going to prove to you that even scientists prove that faith works. Check this out.
So a placebo is an inert substance that has no pharmacologic or medical action. So a placebo effect is the pharmacologic or the beneficial effect that a patient gets from getting that inert substance. And it's generally based upon a patient's beliefs. It's based upon the idea that a patient believes that they're going to get an effect from this substance, even though, again, it has no actual pharmacologic action. Let me show you the example of one subject that we scanned some time ago who gives a nice illustration of the placebo response. This was a young man who had a terrible rollover crush injury of his left upper extremity while he was on safari away from college one summer. He ended up having terrible burning pain in that arm. We brought him into the scanner and we found that when we stroked a particular area of his hand and his arm, he had terrible burning pain in that part of his hand and his arm. And this was represented by this area, by these slides here, which show increase in activity in all the areas of the brain involved with the processing and perception of pain. Now, we had an IV in this young man, and we told him that we were going to start a very powerful pain-relieving medication. And so we did that. And what we found is that his pain went down. He had a dramatic reduction in his pain. It went from, instead of a 7 out of 10, where 0 is no pain and 10 is the worst imaginable, it went from that 7 out of 10 down to a 3 out of 10. And what we found is that similarly, his brain activity went down as well. Significantly less activity in the brain in all of the areas involved with the processing and perception of pain. But what did we actually give him? Well, it turns out we gave him placebo. We hadn't actually started the active medication yet.
So, it's various different cases. You literally got people that's sick with various conditions, right? You tell them that you have a powerful drug that you're about to give them. And you give them tablets with sugar in it. Nothing is in it. Just because they believe what you said, just because they believe that they're taking something that's going to heal them, then now all of a sudden they're getting healed. That goes back to faith, man. That goes back to faith. And this is the scientific proof that proves the things of the Spirit. So why don't you believe it? This has been studied for many years, and it shows the power of faith. Scientists don't even know how this works. And we know that this is all biblical. We know that this is what God says. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So if we see this works, scientists even prove in the spiritual things that God said exist, the spiritual laws. Now apply that to your life, right? Now, if we know that this is true, why do we get in situations where we don't tap into that? We don't tap into the truth and the knowledge and the power of God, right? The Bible says without faith it's impossible to please God. Faith can literally move mountains. So what is the mountain in your life that you are wanting God to move? Are you operating like this? If we know from a spiritual standpoint it's true, and then scientists even prove it's true, why don't you believe it? Why don't you believe it? I encourage y'all, man, operate in faith, because without faith, it's impossible to please God. As always, I love y'all. God bless.